picnic coming up. This is the kind of thing that gives life to a church. We're able to express our relationships and our bonds outside of the sanctuary. So excited to hear about that as well. Now I'm going to change hats a little bit. Instead of being the elder of the Pasadena Seventh Adventist Church, which I'm very proud to be, I'm going to address you now as the director of the CYC Ministries. And I'm going to tell you, first of all, that I'm just so humbled and overwhelmed by the church's support this year as you've partnered with CYC in putting on our annual camp event, which is going to be held here at our church at the end of this month, Memorial Day weekend, Friday, May the 28th through Sunday, May the 30th. Just so excited. I've attended several board meetings, and the response from the board has just been overwhelming as a co-sponsor. I want to thank Matthew again for being my liaison at the Family Life Ministries in terms of liaising together. The board, the entire church, folks like Joanne, who's putting the food together. We have over 1,200 meals to be prepared, and she stepped right into the gap. I want to thank Greg for always being on support. Dinah, in 2 days, booked all the music in terms of our event. And so just as to represent our ministry, I want to thank the church, both from a board level, but also from an individual level, for how much you've helped and your cooperation. I'm humbled and overwhelmed and very, very excited about what God is going to do. I want to just give you, before I plea for help, and that plea is coming, I want to give you a little idea of what we're planning this year. It's going to be a little bit different. As you guys probably know, it started out as a virtual ministry. It's going to be all virtual. But as COVID regulations opened up a little bit, we began to start having more and more live registrants. We began then having to have more live speakers. So some of the folks that I had addressed and asked them to do a live video, I had to go back and they said I bait and switched them and asked them to come out, and we're flying them out here to be with us. And so this thing has sort of morphed and migrated, and it's going to be an amazing event. God is leading in every way. So I want to sort of share with you what we have on tap, and for you guys online as well. First of all, it's going to be live, but it's also going to be simulcast on Facebook and also on YouTube. And so you can actually see it here live, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, come here, or you can be at your home, anywhere across the country, in fact, globally, as Mike said, or Pastor Johnson said, and you'll be able to see it there as well. Friday morning, we have it segmented into 6 different topic sets. Friday morning is social media, and we'll have guys like Scotty and Keith Detweiler from Little Light Ministries talking about music and talking about entertainment and movies and how they have that sort of theme behind them that's very intentionally dragging young people away from Christianity. We have Matthew Preby, who's Dennis Preby's son, who gives an enlightening message on climate change and the meat industry and how that works. So that topic set for Friday morning is going to be very, very social media driven. We'll have a lunch break there, and then we go into what I call social issues. And we start out with Kiala Thompson. We'll talk about addictions. We have addictions that plague our nations, and our youth are not immune to that. So he'll talk about addictions. We have Alvin Mirage talking about pornography, another big thing, not just for our youth, but in terms of our church as well. We also have Gerzon Gomez coming to give a talk on forgiveness, toxic relationships. And then we're going to end up that particular segment with Michael Carducci. He's coming back to this church. He's excited to do so. And his first event, he'll be interviewing a young lady who's local about the issue of abortion. So we're going to cover those issues. We're going to have a dinner, and then Michael Carducci will have an event at 6 to 7:30 on the LGBTQ in our church. So young folks shouldn't miss that section. That topic set is really built for young people. We're excited for you guys to come in person or to see it on live stream. Sabbath, we have more Sabbath topics. Sabbath morning is going to be discipleship. We start with Dr. Nadine Collins coming in from New York about discipleship. We then have Dr. Isaac Olatunji, who runs the State Line, who's the pastor of the State Line Church, where Nathan, our baptism last week, comes from. He's flying out from Atlanta to be with us. We have one of my good friends, I grew up with him, Pastor Meshach Soli from San Diego. If you haven't seen Meshach, he's going to blow your hair back. He's a Samoan, but he's a real Samoan. He's a lot bigger than I am, and he's just blessed by the Spirit. You have a great time. And then we're flying Dr. Eric Walsh out, and he'll be doing this divine service from 10:30 to 12. Then we're going to have a lunch break. And then after the lunch break, we're going to have health. That's our health topic set with Sabbath afternoon. We're going to start out with our very own Matthew Chan, who's going to give a conversation about COVID, et cetera. So he'll start with Matthew, where they're going to break into Michael Carducci, who's doing another presentation in the afternoon. Then again, one of our very own, I'm excited about this one, Byron Rivera, will be on the stage here during the presentation presenting about mental health and about depression. And then we're going to end up with a really cool, don't miss this, by the way, Dr. Matthew Chan, who has a degree in public health from the same university as Dr. Eric Walsh, will be interviewing Dr. Eric Walsh on this stage here, talking about public health concerns, which obviously are very rich in the conversation. So that's going to be Sabbath. And then we'll end up Sabbath with Pastor Johnson will be giving, after dinner, we'll be giving a presentation and an appeal. Sunday morning, we've added this in for what's happening in the last year. We have what we call a social justice Sunday morning, and it's going to be amazing. We're going to start out with Jonathan Burnett, who you may or may not have heard of. He's a pastor in the Lake Union in Chicago. Awesome gentleman will start us out talking about social justice. Then we have Claudia Allen coming in live remote. I've heard Claudia before. She's going to blow your hair back. Claudia Allen is the content editor for Message Magazine, which is an online magazine on the East Coast. And she's amazing. She's going to bless us. And then again, one of my childhood friends, Dr. Paul Siope. He runs a church in New Zealand, and he'll be coming to us live remote from New Zealand to talk about social justice. And then we'll end up that topic set of social justice with my daughter Ariana, interviewing both Paul Siope and Claudia Allen live remote, taking audience questions as well to have a really thorough discussion about social justice in the church. We're then going to have lunch, and we're going to end up our session with what I call, is my favorite topic set. It's called Christ, Christ, Christ. We want all of our attendees to leave here understanding how to forge and maintain a close personal relationship with Jesus Christ. How do you do that? We're going to have Pastor Randy Skeet, by the way, who'll be here live remote, talking about personal devotion. We're going to have, after that, we're going to have our very own, actually, Joanna Amayo Dominguez. I don't know if you remember her, but she gave Mother's Day in the parking lot. She's awesome. She'll be delivering a message on devotion as well. We then have Pastor Nadine Collins from New York talking about her favorite subject, which is prayer. Don't miss that. Nadine Collins on prayer is something you don't want to miss. And we're going to end up with Ivor Myers here, live remote, talking about how to study the Bible. So 4 topic sets there on Christ, 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 how we leave the mountaintop, as it were, understanding how to forge a relationship with Jesus Christ. And then we'll have dinner, and then I'll close this up with a quick presentation for the stage. So we have a lot planned. We are so excited, but we have a ton of work to do. I realized as we're putting this together that typically speaking, we trap people on the mountain for 4 or 5 days. They can't do anything else but say yes. So we have a built-in audience of folks that do things. But now that we're down here, who's coming Friday but who's not coming on Sabbath? Who's coming on Sunday but not coming on Friday? So we really need to build a crew in. We need crews for different things. We need crews to run parking. We have, obviously, there's going to be a lot of folks coming here. I didn't give you the number yet, but we registered online almost 350 guests. 350 guests. Praise God. Amen. So we have 350 guests. That's not counting, of course, the 150 to 180 that come here from our church. And I guarantee you there's going to be 100 to 125, maybe 150 that don't register and just show up at our doorstep. So Sabbath especially should be just a crazy day. And so parking's going to be an issue. We've made arrangements with the church across the way from us to rent their parking spot. But anyway, I get ahead of myself. So we need parking attendants. A couple of folks out there at all times to make sure the parking's done correctly. We need folks to greet as people come in. Where can they sit? We're going to have an overflow in the fellowship hall. We're going to have 124 chairs lined up with a big screen back there. We need folks to be able to matriculate people back there. We need registrants, people that are front there registering. We're going to take temperatures and pass out masks, et cetera, to make sure we're all COVID safe. So we need folks like that. We desperately need AV people. David and I are going to meet later on today, but David cried this morning at 6:15 in my text saying, we need more people. So we need AV people. So I just need a ton of crew people. So I have these lists that I have, and I'm going to have a meeting in the collegiate room after the service today, and I want to invite each and every one of you to join me. And I have this broken out into the different teams that we need in terms of, production team, parking team, registrant team, greeting team, and also segment into Friday morning and Friday afternoon, Sabbath morning and Sabbath afternoon. That way, if folks that aren't going to be here on one day, we can still man those different stations. And I want to ask us too light of a word. I want to beg each and every one of you to join me in the room next door there. Get you signed up so we can crew up for this amazing event so that when the folks come here to our church, and they'll be coming from all over this area, but also folks will be witnessing this church from all over our country and perhaps all over the globe. I want to make sure that it runs like a well-tuned, fine machine, and I'm going to need all of your help for that. So one more time, I want to thank you very much for your participation, your cooperation. Again, I'm overwhelmed, and we are so blessed, and we look forward to what God is going to do in and through us in our event. Thank you.